Thanks for joining us on G24 for the main edition of the news in English. 13 intense minutes of information from Gabon, Africa, and the world. Let's start with the headlines. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo Addo and current President of ECOWAS, the Economic Community of West African States, visited Mali this Sunday, 17th October, to deliver a firm message to the ruling junta on the holding of elections in February 2022. Necrology in this news edition as Colin Powell, the first black U.S. Secretary of State whose leadership in several Republican administrations helped shape American foreign policy, has died from complications from COVID-19. He was only 84 years old. We take a short break with the jingle. Once more, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and thanks for watching us. We open in Gabon as 3 new ambassadors accredited to the country came officially during the ceremony establishing the heads of the diplomatic missions in the country, which took place this morning at the presidential palace in the presence of the head of state, Ali Bongo Ondimba. The details are with Akenenge and the presidential press.
Presentation of credentials, this traditional testified the dynamism of bilateral cooperation for this time between Gabon and respectively with the Federal Republic of Brazil, the French Republic and the Federal Republic of India. The first presented his latest credence to the head of state Ali Bongo Ondimba, His Excellency José Marcos Nogueira Viana, the ambassador of the Republic of Brazil to the Gabonese Republic with residence in Libreville. The head of the diplomatic mission, born in 1960, began his career in 1985. The South-South cooperation between Gabon and these South American countries is going well in many areas. The similarities of the climate plan are an asset in the reinforcement of the cooperation of which the agricultural sector is part of. The Framework Convention signed in 2019 is an example of success. His Excellency Ambassador Alexis Lamec, High Representative of the French Republic to Gabon, with residence in Libreville. The 55-year-old, the new French ambassador to Gabon, speaks several languages, noting that Gabon and France maintain close cooperation in sectors of education, environment, scientific research, and many others. And to close this diplomatic ballet, His Excellency Aran Karan Verma, born in 1963, the ambassador of the Republic of India to the Gabonese Republic, with residence in Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo. In the field of higher education and scientific research, Libreville and New Delhi have signed agreement. This ceremony marked the vivacity of Gabonese diplomacy, which always aims to build a win-win partnership in order to support inclusive development.
As announced in the headlines, Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo and current presidents of the Conference of West African Head of States visited Mali this Sunday to deliver a firm message to the ruling junta on the holding of elections in February. Let's listen to the details. Nana Akufo-Addo, whose country holds the rotating presidency of the Community of West African States, ECOWAS, made a visit of a few hours on Sunday in full doubt about the respect of its commitment by the junta. According to a senior member of the delegation, the aim was to send a strong message. The head of the junta and traditional president, Colonel Assimi Goïta, for his part, engaged in pro domo plea. In September, ECOWAS asked the authorities to submit by the end of October at the latest a calendar of essential steps for elections in February 2022. A delegation will return to Bamako before the deadline to obtain assurances. At the same time, a demonstration of support for the authorities was organized near the palace behind a banner proclaiming only the choice of the sovereign people of Mali counts, a response to pressure exerted by ECOWAS or France. Remember, the military seized power by force in August 2020 and consolidated it with a new putsch in May 2021, pledged under pressure from the West African neighbors and much of the international community to give in place for civilians after elections. However, for weeks, the junta and the government have shown signs which are clear the deadline may not be respected. Mali's partners consider the political progress made under the junta since August 2020 to be minimal. The country remains plagued by violence in the center and near the borders with Burkina Faso and is concerned about their progress towards the west and the south. Also, a few months after his return to Côte d'Ivoire, former President Laurent Gbagbo launched his new political party on the 16th and 17th October in Abidjan. The details are with John Cyril Ondomungu.
The former Ivorian president launched his new party this weekend, the Party of African Peoples, Côte d'Ivoire, PPACI, of which he was elected president during the Constitutive Congress in Abidjan. Laurent Gbagbo said his ambition was to leave and that he was preparing his party to continue the fight, a party that wants to be socialist, sovereignist, and that emphasizes Pan-Africanism. Laurent Gbagbo thus anticipates a political career neglected until now to small formations like the COJEP. For the former Ivorian president, the scale of states resulting from independence is unsuited to the coming world. Although Gbagbo did not explain what he meant by unite, he nevertheless cited the United States and the European Union as examples of regional integration. At 76, the former Ivorian head of state assures that he is preparing to pass the hand. He says he has worked to ensure that the new party, the PPACI, is an instrument of combat that survives him no matter what. In these days, after this journey, the wisdom is to prepare to leave. But I decided that I would not leave suddenly, he said.
On a different note, Libreville is hosting an oil and gas and energy transition summit from the 20th to the 22nd October 2021, during which the main investors will report on the latest developments in the field of energy transition, a profound structural change in energy production and consumption patterns. Akenenge tells us more.
It will be the first time that Libreville, the Gabonese capital, hosts the edition of a first summit on oil, gas and energy transition, a meeting to be held from the 20th to the 22nd of October with a view to boosting oil production, diversifying the sector and improving governance. Gabon is seriously thinking about the energy transition, and in order to initiate this change, the Ministry of Oil will organize this major meeting. According to government's communication, this event will bring together the main players in the hydrocarbon sector, both nationally and internationally, and should therefore promote a better understanding of aspects such as energy and hydrocarbon laws, planning and development of gas infrastructure, and the energy transition. The gathering will enable people to face the challenges of energy supply, depletion of natural resources, price evolution, and respect for the environment. The event will be held in person, but also by video conference.
In health, Gabon recently received a large donation of several rapid diagnostic kits for COVID-19, HIV/AIDS, and malaria from South Korea. This is an endowment that reaffirms the symbol of friendship and solidarity between the two countries. The report is given by Maria Batista Bina.
Affected by the third wave of corona, this device, according to the South Korean diplomat, is endowment from the Korean pharmaceutical company SD Biosensors sent to the Gabonese government. Korean diplomat Ryu Chang-so firmly believes that this kit can be used in the country's fight against this pandemic. These are 10,000 COVID-19 rapid diagnostic kits, 2,500 HIV rapid diagnostic kit, and 3,000 malaria diagnostic kit. It should be noted that since the start of the health crisis, South Korea has been supporting Gabon in the fight against the pandemic linked to the coronavirus COVID-19. It is on the strength of this bilateral cooperation that in May, the Gabonese government bought screening kits from this friendly country, which greatly contributed to mass screening throughout the country. Also, during the month of October, the Republic of Korea offered Gabon protective masks and at a set of 26,000 rapid screening tests. And in the second quarter, it also hosted Gabonese experts for training in response strategy to COVID-19, thus strengthening the good relation already existing between the two countries.
Necrology time Colin Powell, the first black U.S. Secretary of State, whose leadership in several Republican administrations helped shape American foreign policy in the last years of the 20th century and the early years of the 21st, has died from complications from COVID-19 at 84 years. Maria Batista tells us more.
It is a great loss for the United States of America, but also for his family, who say they have lost a great American. Living with COVID-19 at the age of 84, Colin Powell did not survive the severe form of a virus that continues to claim lives across the planet. He died at Walter Reed Hospital on the outskirts of the federal capital, Washington, where most American presidents are cared for. The first black Secretary of State was above all the atypical career of black in the American administration. He was the first Afro Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, Chief of American Diplomacy under George Bush. A geologist by training, Colin Powell was born on April 5, 1937 in Harlem, a district of New York. He began his military career in 1958. He was sent as John Kennedy's military advisor to Vietnam. The man is known to have defended the 2003 George Bush war against alleged weapons of mass destruction in Iraq in a long speech to the UN Security Council. Colin Powell then justified the American war against Saddam Hussein regime that the United States succeeded in defeating with the support of Great Britain. But the former U.S. Secretary of State would later admit that his involvement in the war left stain on his career as a diplomat.
We have come to the end of this newscast, but first, a summary of the headlines. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo and current President of ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States, visited Mali this Sunday, 17th October, to deliver a firm message to the ruling junta on the holding of elections in February 2022. Necrology in this news edition as Colin Powell, the first black U.S. Secretary of State, whose leadership in several Republican administrations helped shape American foreign policy, has died from complications from COVID-19. He was 84 years old. I'll be back at 10:30 p.m. with more news. Thanks for staying tuned to G24 and its social medias. Gaël Mapessé will inform you in French at 8 p.m. local time. Get screened for free against breast cancer, ladies, as we are in the October Pink Month. For now, goodbye.